because you don't have the quarterback to get him the ball. Someone goes, is that DeVonta's fault? No, idiot. You drafted the wrong personnel because you're trying to make up for Jalen Reagor's mistake. So you draft a wide receiver without a signal caller. You built the team backwards. You haven't landed on a quarterback that you've been settled on. So you draft a wide receiver that doesn't fit. 64 catches for 900 yards in today's NFL is pedestrian. Is that DeVonta Smith's fault? No. It's the quarterback and the training wheels head coach. Here we are, baby. It's football season. Take it in, take it in, take it in. It's football season. One more time. It's football season. By the end of today, every NFL team will be in camp. It's football season. Sixers, Flyers, Phillies, Mets, Yankees. Bye-bye. Oh, yeah, I'll use you when I need it. But it's football season. It started today. We can get into the topics now of expectations. Because you know what doesn't stop right now? Time. Every day, we're getting closer to the first exhibition game. I think it's like, what, August 12th? Okay, we're rolling on to that thing. And there's only 3 of them now, compared to back in the day where it used to be 6 when I played. Then they pared it down to 4. Now they have 3 because of the additional regular season game. We're here, dude. We are absolutely here. Hey, Daz, I love a good baseball debate. When has baseball been relevant? Give me one storyline. Steroids. It was one of the greatest things ever happened to Major League Baseball was the steroid controversy. It was. You had villains in the sport. Baseball was great when they had villains. Bonds, A-Rod, every one of those guys, Manny. Now you got Mike Trout, who you couldn't pick out in a Philly mall anywhere. Is that Mike Trout? It's funny, you know what? That's Jared Goff, and he's on one of the sorriest teams in the league. You could pick a guy out who wears a helmet, but you couldn't pick out Shohei Ohtani if you put him in a lineup. That's the identity crisis baseball has. The NFL doesn't have that. These quarterbacks are front and center now. Look at the money they're making. Kyler Murray, 2 years remaining on his contract, now makes $46.1 million, and he's not, like John McMullen says, he's not even one of the top 10 guys. But he's the second highest paid dude in the league now. Unbelievable. Unbelievable the amount of money that's being thrown around now. By the way, I want to start something out because it's being debated on my Twitter page at Dan Sileo Show. And by the way, if some of you don't follow me, I invite you to follow me, please, over at Dan Sileo Show. I said something yesterday, and Xander knows that I've said this from day one about DeVonta Smith. I never said DeVonta Smith was a bad football player. As a matter of fact, I think DeVonta Smith is a fabulous player. Xander, right? He's a fabulous football player. He just doesn't fit on the Eagles because you don't have the quarterback to get him the ball. Someone goes, is that DeVonta's fault? No, idiot. You drafted the wrong personnel because you're trying to make up for Jalen Reagor's mistake. So you draft a wide receiver without a signal caller. You built the team backwards. You haven't landed on a quarterback that you've been settled on. So you draft a wide receiver that doesn't fit. 64 catches for 900 yards in today's NFL is pedestrian. Is that DeVonta Smith's fault? No. It's the quarterback and the training wheels head coach. Nobody said it's anybody's fault. But Najee Harris, behind that old line, he's a pass-catching freak. He had 1,200 yards rushing, 7 touchdowns, and he had almost 500 yards in reception yards and 74 catches. That's 1,700 offensive yards from the line of scrimmage. Almost double your boy. Don't talk to me about production. Najee fits behind the best O-line. And you have a swing pass to that guy, he's down the sidelines. Can you imagine this? You go out in free agency and you get A.J. Brown and you got Najee Harris behind Jalen Hurts. You might not lose a game. Instead, you got Miles Sanders, who can't stay healthy and can't catch a ball. By the way, Brian Westbrook, who could catch a ball and run. Brian Westbrook is a perfect fit for this offense. He's a perfect fit. 79 catches, 1,400 yards. Dude, Brian Westbrook would be a freak in this offense. He's at the bottom of this hour. Dude, who would you rather have in your offense, DeVonta Smith or Brian Westbrook? It's a no-brainer when you have the best O-line in football. And you simplify your offense. There are so many idiotic people that think they know ball and have no common sense towards it. Nobody's saying that DeVonta is a bad player. Absolutely nobody. He just doesn't fit. Like, I wouldn't put Davante Adams on this team. Why? He ain't getting 100 catches. Nobody in the history of the Eagles has ever had 100 catches when it comes to the wide receiver position. Okay? Your narratives are funny. You build the team so you can go all in on a guy if you don't already have one look at Denver. That's right, Flex. Denver went out and put Judy on. They went out and built themselves a fine O-line. All they were missing was the QB. Put the QB in the building. The Broncos now are one of the favorites to win the AFC. It's the most important position, obviously. Okay? Timothy, go stop yelling. I'm sorry. Timothy, I'm excited. My bad. Stop yelling. You're right. I'm excited about the start of the season. How can you not be, man? There's so many great angles to go today. By the way, we're packed the next couple days, too. Brian Westbrook, bottom of the hour. Tomorrow, we have Merrill Reese at 5:30. On Thursday, Mike Missinelli from our fabulous postgame show for the Eagles that you're going to see this year. These next 3 days, man, we are covered, and we appreciate you coming aboard here, man. Hey, Timothy, right, man? I know you're kidding, dog. I'm just jacked up, man. Hey, you know what? I say this to you, Timothy. Sometimes, man, my passion gets the best of me because I love it. I just love football, man. I do. I love the competition. I love the game. Man, it's my first true love. Man, playing football is the best. It's the greatest, man. It is. It's just, I just love the competition. I love Monday through Saturday. I love Sundays. I love Saturdays. I love talking about the game. I love building teams. And most of the time when I'm talking, and it seems that I'm talking trash, I'm just trying to talk to get better on that team or that respected position. Carson Wentz says Jalen's the next Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor wasn't a bad player, man, and isn't a bad player. Timothy goes, Dan, my wife wants to hear your fake laugh again. Remember when you were talking about fake people? I don't really have a fake laugh, dude. My wife used to call it a radio laugh. And she's like, don't do that, okay? 'Cause I'm not a very good liar, so I can't do it. Today's report day. Tomorrow they're going to start hitting. What's up, Joseph? Show sucks. Just had to get that out of the way. I'm starting to like this dude. Xander, I'm starting to like this guy more and more. Isn't that crazy, Joseph? I really don't like you and you really don't like me, but here we are. I think that's the story of my life, dude. I'm not kidding, man. You don't like me and I don't like you. You barely like my takes. I barely like your takes. So I don't know. But guess what? Here we are. Right? That's the beauty of sports. That's the beauty of bringing people together. I've told you this. All right. So we're going to go through a lot of topics that we kind of have broached on before. And we're going to look at the Colts because that's the next team up on the schedule because, look, we've already gone over Washington. So we're going to go to week 11. We're going to talk about the Colts. That'll be the Eagles opponent in week number 11. So we'll do that here in a minute here. I want to throw this out at you, though. Can I get assessment of what you think? And as a fan, how many games this year are you going to give this football team before you know what their identity is? How Jalen's playing, if that has been answered, will that be answered? Will we have to wait to the end of the season? What part of the season will you know, okay, he's our guy? He's our guy. Do you want to give it an entire year? I think you have too much to lose. I think your team reminds me of the 49er team. Your biggest question mark is quarterback. Their biggest question mark, you know what I don't like Kyle Shanahan saying? We believe that Trey Lance may get it done. We think he's ready. There's no definitive comments or statements that are being said there. Okay? I like this. Don't say anything. Let's go out and play. Week 10 says flex. Halfway through, Silz is, hey, I don't have a Woodrow Wilson for the dude today. We will know about coaching and Hurts against Minnesota. That's week 2. Kyle Shanahan is in the top 5 overrated coaches in the league. We're going to find that out, Eagles. He's 7-28 without Garoppolo. Hey, who do you think has a better professional career, Trey Lance or Jalen Hurts? We'll hit on that. I mean, right? I don't know if either of the guys have a great NFL career, but I don't know if I'm sold on Trey Lance just yet. Okay? Here's what I think. I think by the bye week, I'm going to know your football team. I'm saying your football team's going to be 3-3 as you get to the bye week. I think there's going to be a lot of bumps and bruises going through this. Hey, you could tell me all about the expectations, but now you got to go out and play. And I want to see it. You haven't beaten a team with a winning record yet in the Hurts era. You've got to. You haven't even sniffed a great game against the Cowboys. Why are we going under the assumption that this is the year that they're going to catch the Cowboys? Because they lost Randy Gregory and they lost Amari Cooper? Well, there's a reason you paid that guy $45 million. You gave that quarterback $45 million for a reason. We're going to find out. By the way, you want to hear something crazy? You know, we throw all the heat on Jalen Hurts and we say how much pressure he's under. How about Mike McCarthy shows up to Oxnard yesterday, and the first question that a media guy asked him, hey, do you feel that you're on the hot seat going into the regular season? How'd you like to be the head coach of the Cowboys? How'd you like to go into that, being the head football coach of the Cowboys, and the first question a media dude asks you at Oxnard is, hey, do you think your job is safe? Nick calls Jalen his son. Yeah, well, that's got nothing to do with winning games. Don't know. Hey, Josh, that kid, Trent Williams, is the best offensive lineman in the National Football League. I don't think San Francisco's whole line is bad. Okay? Look at what he had. Look at what he had to answer right out of the gate. I'm going to say again, the bye week, man. Week 7. I'm going to pretty much know what's up. Because the front end of this schedule, Lions, Vikings, Washington, Jags, Cards, Cowboys. Kyler Murray, oh, by the way, got a great story around that. Kid's got to do homework to get some of his money. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Okay? It's an embarrassing little sidebar that's hooked into his contract. He's got to study. I'll hit on that because it's right to put that in if you feel that he's not putting the work in when it comes to studying. Vic struggled with this early in his career, and they don't want him to go down the same road as Michael Vick. Michael Vick won a ton of games on his ability, but Michael Vick didn't win a lot of games, and games that mattered because of his intelligence of the game. I'm not calling him stupid, but if you don't study the game, how can you understand the game? Vic ran around with great athleticism. But if you don't understand how the game is played, it's a game of angles. It's a game of technique. If you're not understanding the proper techniques, how can you win games that matter? You can't. Brady has won games that mattered. I think Aaron Rodgers struggles from this a little bit. He's so gifted. He knows where to go with the ball. I wonder if he shares any of that knowledge that he has with his teammates. When you have that kind of knowledge, you need to spread it around to your teammates so they can see what you're seeing. Carl says, A.J. Brown is going to be amazing for Hurts. How do you say that, Carl, when he wasn't amazing in Tennessee? Carl says that A.J. Brown was amazing. Where do you think 68 catches and 998 yards a year and 8 touchdowns a year is amazing? Where'd you get that from? You think that he's going to have more numbers because of Jalen Hurts? My opinion, he'll struggle to get to 1,000 yards because of the quarterback. He's not going to. You think A.J. Brown makes Jalen Hurts better? Interesting. I thought it was the reverse. I thought quarterbacks made wide receivers better. Interesting. Carson Wentz can't get DeVonta the ball. We saw it last year. AJ has the big mouth and he better back it up. Hey, Steve, you know where he's going to back it up? Red zone. Third down catches. That's where he's amazing, not in statistics. He's going to be a third down beast, jump balls, red zone. Dude, that guy in the red zone throwing the ball up against any defensive back, including Jalen Ramsey of the Rams, I'll take A.J. Brown 9 out of 10 times. 9 out of 10 times. A.J. Brown, 2,000-yard seasons. Great. Wonderful. Little bit over 1,000. Average 998. 998 in 3 years. Look it up. Read a book. Use your calculator on your phone if you have to. It's easy. Just go over to apps. Add it up. Simple. If you trade Pollard for Rager, dude, stop throwing Jalen Rager's name into a trade. You couldn't get a bag of donuts for Jalen Rager. Nobody's trading for a guy who stinks. He's not an asset. He has no value. Zero value. Nobody's going to take a flyer on him. They're going to wait for him to get cut, and someone will pick him up. Missed 7 games. Durability, Carl, and availability is also part of the evaluation for players. I don't care. Oh, and by the way, Carl, Last year, Ryan Tannehill lost Derrick Henry for 9 games, and he lost A.J. Brown for 7 games, and they were still the number 1 team in the AFC last year going into the playoffs. But you think Jalen's better than Tannehill. He's not. He's not. Bobby goes, Tannehill isn't an amazing quarterback either. He's not. Funny though, Bobby, the Titans were the number 1 seed at the end of the regular season last year in a very powerful AFC without 2 star players. That's pretty amazing. Poor division? What about the AFC as a conference? You lose Derrick Henry. He had 1,000 yards at the break. You're just making excuses up. Making excuses up. 007, we were arguing earlier that game manager is a great talent. Game manager, if game manager gets me 7 Super Bowls, I'll have that game manager every single day of my life. Every single day of my life. By the way, to your point, Carson Wentz, the AFC is packed again this year. What's up, Gigi? A.J. Brown is a top 5 to 10 receiver. Not in numbers. Not in his numbers. Not even close. Shit, right off the top of your head. Cooper Kupp, DeVonta Adams. Right? Just those 2 there. He's not better than DeAndre Hopkins. You think he's better than Jamar Chase? 1,500 yards his rookie season. 1,500 yards. He's not in Justin Jefferson's league. Justin Jefferson may be the first wide receiver in NFL history to go for 2,000 receiving yards. Alex Smith was a game manager. Alex Smith was a winner. Okay? I don't know what game manager means. A game manager. Jesus criminy, man. If you would have had a game manager back in the day when McNabb played, you might have won a Super Bowl. Okay? Could have had a Super Bowl. Game manager. That's the dumbest comment of all time when people throw that game manager thing out at Brady. Brady, sure, he's a CEO. He knows how to manage a team. He knows how to manage an offense, and he knows how to get points on the board. If that's game managing, sounds to me like that's experienced quarterbacking. So what would you rather have? A game manager like Manning or Brady, or an athlete like Vic and Hurts? Pretty simple answer to me. Okay? Sydney goes, Rager's got talent. Well, he hasn't shown it at all in any way whatsoever. Zach Pascal's better and has better numbers, and he barely played in Indianapolis. Okay? The expectations are so high. And it's funny, man, just because you think you plug in a guy that you automatically think that that's going to create massive success. Let's see if the pieces work. How many times have you seen a player that you thought was going to work? You plug him into your football team, and it just does not go anywhere. All sports are like that. Look at Russell Westbrook with the Lakers. As great a talent as Russell Westbrook is, you think he fits with the Lakers and what they want to do? LeBron's a ball-centric guy, right? Westbrook's a ball-centric guy. Never was going to work out. There's only one basketball. There's only one football. Ray, thank you so much for coming aboard. I appreciate it. By the way, don't forget, Brian Westbrook will join us here in a couple minutes. We're going to get his spin on the upcoming 2022 NFL season for the Eagles and maybe your respected team. My 2023 bold prediction: Tampa Bay Bucks and Tom Brady fall failed to make the playoffs. You heard it here first on the big show. I'll tell you something else too. The Cowboys. How many people think the Cowboys are in trouble this year for making the playoffs? We'll talk a little bit about the NFC East as we get into the program as well. Carl believes that Jalen Hurts will be the second 4,000-yard passing quarterback in Eagle history with 622 rushing yards. He's going to have a 1,000-yard improvement in his passing in his second year because he believes A.J. Brown has been added to the mix, will improve those numbers, 900 yards in his passing game. I can't wait to see this. I cannot wait to see how this plays out. I can't wait to see the play calling. A.J. Brown is a top 15. Yes, he's a top 15. Here, Paul, let me give you a great example of what you're saying there with A.J. Brown as a top 15 wide receiver. Do you think that Kyler Murray is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL? I don't. But he's the second highest paid guy in the league. That doesn't necessarily mean he's the second best quarterback in the league just because he makes the second most money in the league next to Aaron Rodgers, 50. Okay? That doesn't mean that. I look at Kyler Murray. I'd probably pick 9 or 10 guys before I take him. How about watch this? Who would you take in a football game? Kirk Cousins? Because that's like my low end before you start to get into the elite guys. How many people would take Cousins over Kyler Murray in a game that you had to win? Would you take Murray or Cousins? I'd take Kirk Cousins. 6 of the last 7 years, guy's thrown over 4,200 yards. 5 years, he's got 30 touchdowns or more. I mean, really. Hurts 3,800, maybe, but getting better. 20 plus. AJ there adds 1,000. Colts running back had 1,800 yards. Sydney kind of put it together a little bit better here. 250 yards passing a game, 17 games is 4,250 for the season, which is the new benchmark for quarterbacks. I think that's right, Paul. I think you have to have an offense that throws the ball for 250. What was he at last year? 208, something like that? I think he was at 208 last year. It's all good, Sydney. It's all good, man. Sean says, isn't this the same guy that said Najee Harris? So, yes, I did. It is the same guy, Sean. Najee Harris had 1,700 total yards last year. Your boy had 900. He had more catches and more total offense than that guy. And your quarterback can't find him. Couldn't find him in a playoff game for a quarter and a half. What's the sense of having DeVonta Smith if you can't utilize him? What's the sense? That was my argument. It's not that DeVonta's a bad player. Harris in the Eagle offense is more effective. Got the number one running attack, and you have no screen game to save your life. This guy improves your short passing game and also enhances the running attack, which you're known for. This is what you have. You have a receiver you can't get the ball to because your quarterback's not good enough. End of story. You know nothing about Philly sports. What I said to you just now, Sean, has nothing to do with Philly sports. It's called common sense in football. Okay? You got a wide receiver you can't use because your quarterback's not good enough. Plain and simple. 64 catches? The running back, that's not even his strength, had more catches. Your screen game is awful. He improves that. He's a 1,200-yard back, and he ran behind the 30th worst O-line in the NFL. Can you imagine? Hey, Xander, Can you imagine Najee Harris running behind the number one O-line in the NFL and catching screen passes from Jalen Hurts? Jalen may have had 4,000 yards with Najee on the team because he'd have took some of them screen passes to the house. You, my friend, have no idea what you're talking about. What's the sense of having A.J. Brown and DeVonta Smith when your quarterback can't get him the ball? Tell me. What's the point? And by the way, one more time, I'm not telling you DeVonta's a bad player. You put DeVonta Smith in Cincinnati, he duplicates what Jamar Chase did. He's a 13, 14, 1,500-yard guy. You give DeVonta Smith a quarterback that can throw, it's a different conversation. Then I wouldn't want Najee. I'd want someone like Joe Mixon. That's who I'd want, or Brian Westbrook, somebody like that.